There's nothing to worry about. I've been sterile since I've had mumps as a teenager. Well, if that's true, who was the father of Chelsea? Some people say, well, wait a minute, Chelsea's got lips identical to Webster Hubbell, who is reputed to have been a lover of Hillary. So, I mean, all right, now coming back to the problem. Cherry's second wife is a dyke. It's a marriage of convenience. She was actually something that cynical people would call a Republican fascist. What is she doing with a presidential Democrat candidate for president? It defies logic. Secondly, when I've gone on the radio, I use a term that hasn't been in the past used, and that is when there's two of them cohabiting like that, they call the dyke a beard. I've had 20-year-old college students call in and appall me. Mr. Skolnick, are you saying that his wife does not use a proper Gillette razor? And of course, I figure, well, he's a young fellow, and I guess he doesn't know what the word beard means in respect to a dyke. It means that that the man is keeping the woman as a front so that they think it's a normal, natural marriage.
Yeah, all these marriages are just arrangements, aren't they? I mean, they all marry, intermingle in with each other's families.
But some people will say, well, why, Mrs. Skolnick, are you bringing it up? I'm bringing these things out because they lead to a situation where either one of these can be blackmailed. George W. Bush is subject because of his sordid relationship with Victor Ashe and with John F. Kerry and so on. Subject to being blackmailed by those that some believe are sworn enemies of the United States, the Red Chinese.
Well, even
the existence of this. You see, there was an editor of a grocery magazine, those sort of scandal magazines,
right,
like the National Enquirer. They were all published by a company called, and I have to be brief or we're going to run out of time, but American Media Incorporated, AMI. They published a number of these grocery scandal magazines. Have I made myself clear?
Yes, very.
In other words, do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
All right. And they operated in a building in Boca Raton, Florida. 550 people worked there, and they had a vast picture library. The picture editor, Bob Stevens, reportedly had pictures, two pictures relating to the Kerry Bush initiation procedure in the basement of the tomb, of the Skull and Bones building. What happened is, maybe you remember, maybe you don't, he was the first victim of anthrax. He was a nearsighted person. He got an envelope with his name on it. Being nearsighted, he took off his glasses and looked closely at the envelope as he opened it. And unfortunate for him, as he opened it, the anthrax spores went right into his nose, into his lungs, and he shortly thereafter died. The building was closed down and kept closed down, and those that worked there could not come back to the files and picture files in that building. They were under the jurisdiction of the FBI that has not allowed it to be released. And Bob Stevens' wife, his widow, has sued the FBI for cover-up. I know you're saying, wait a minute, Mr. Skolnick, I didn't hear that on the news this morning. Yes, I understand all of that. Now, Rudolph Giuliani, right? Some of us believe that maybe he had prior knowledge of 9/11. And what is Rudolph Giuliani today? He is the founder and head of Bio-One. And what do? They have all the contracts, principally, to clean up anthrax-infested buildings. And what they did is they are working on the building there in Boca Raton, where AMI, American Media Incorporated, used to operate. And Rudolph Giuliani, get this, bought the entire building with all the records for a pittance. Does that tell you anything or not?
Oh, I'm not surprised.
All right. So, I mean...
Now, we're talking about blackmail material. Isn't it true that the Mossad also has pictures of George W. Bush and this mayor? And they can hang those over his head anytime they want to.
That's true. I've written a great deal about Mossad. They've had a renegade group here in the United States. Their reputed acting deputy chief of Mossad for North America is now a member of Congress, Rahm Emanuel. Anyone looks at my website would see the various stories that I've written about him. I mean, he's quite a character, quite. All right, now, I would like to take a moment, and then I'll go back to the details, and anything that I could quickly, within the time limits, clear up, I will do my best. For those that want to examine some of our previous stories, my website is www.skolnicksreport.com. SKOLNICKSREPORT, an S after my name, Skolnicksreport.com. There you will see links on the home page to two other websites that archive a great deal of the 200 stories that I have written about our work as the spokesman and chairman of our research group. Now, if your listeners wish to find out how to get onto our email list to get our middle finger news and Skolnick's reports as soon as they're issued, send me an email to Skolnick, SKOLNICK, at Ameritech.net. That's AMERITECH. Skolnick at Ameritech.net. Please be certain to put in the subject line of your email, I want to be on the email list. And that's Skolnick at Ameritech.net. Now, you ask about Edwards. I think that Edwards can easily be scandalized. He won a tremendously large class action by reportedly corrupting the judge. Now, that we could spend a whole 45 minutes discussing the corruption in class action cases. I happen to know a great deal about it. And very often, the plaintiff's attorneys, not in every case, but in too many of the cases, they win a case like $100 million on behalf of a class of plaintiffs, and then the judge gives them whatever they want, and there's too many examples where apparently the judge got a piece of the action, and the class action attorneys, the plaintiff's attorneys, very often do not split the judgment with the purported victims. That is, those that were abused by an insurance company or the asbestos claims. There's a lot to be said. The asbestos claims people that suffered lung and other injuries, in many instances, claim that they didn't get the proceeds of these various $100 and $200 million settlements or judgments. The one that got into that category of type of work, got fabulously wealthy, is John Edwards, Senator of North Carolina, selected by the secretive group, the Bilderberg Society. At their meeting in June, they suddenly invited him to be there to be anointed as the next vice president or president.
Right.
So those people said, well, wait a minute, I'm going to decide that when I vote. No, you're not going to decide that. The media is going to force it upon you.
So how are they going to get rid of Kerry to bring up Edwards? Are they going to do anything
in the last
up front?
40 minutes, I haven't said enough of possibilities of that. Is that what you're saying?
Well, you think something will happen?
I believe so, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, I've mentioned to people on the internet this week that you would bring up the Brownsville Massacre event.
I'm looking at my watch. What I could say about that is it's on our website. We have another website where one is hooked to the other through my homepage, and it's called www.cloakanddagger.ca. CA stands for Canada, and Cloak and Dagger are words without spaces, all lowercase, cloakanddagger.ca, and it's the Metamoros Brownsville murders. And we've got pictures there and details.